My amplified unit, top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, salute. Some breaking news this morning in the pro wrestling world. A big story as the Raw rating for 11/28/22 is in. It was on a one-day delay. It is now in, and this was going to be a telling number. We all knew that. BC spoke about it yesterday in great length. The man of three H's knew this was going to be the show. One of those landmark shows that is going to judge, if you will, his performance. You know, every several months, you just have that moment where you're going to be judged on your performance. Where are you right now? What's the trajectory? What are we doing? What have you done for me lately, right? This was going to be one of those shows. USA Network knew it. 3H's knew it. This was going to be it. The holidays are done. Everybody's done their travel. It's Monday night. Everybody's just, the colder weather's coming in. Everybody just wants to be entertained now. And they went for it. Man of three H's, the USA Network, they went commercial free for the entire first hour. Commercial free. Trying to get that audience and keep the audience. They had the return of Becky Lynch to Monday Night Raw. And it's the post-Survivor Series War Games. Monday Night Raw. You had the perfect storm for what should be a very big rating for WWE. Post-Survivor Series show. Hour-long commercial-free. First whole hour commercial free, and Becky Lynch's return. And you have what's supposed to be this big new star on the horizon, this new reset Austin Theory that everybody is clamoring over. So this number should be through the roof, right? Well, BC said yesterday, not so fast. I said Monday Night Raw was actually not that good. It was not worthy of a 1.9. And that's sad, by the way, because even with Monday Night Football, Raw should be at 2.2 to 2.3 at the bare minimum. And that's being overly generous. The show has been so bad for so long that sadly we're talking about a 1.6 to a 1.8 lately is all they can pull. Against football, anyway. They can't even touch a 2-2 against football. Man, how times have changed. But they've been pulling in this 1.6 to 1.8. People are claiming this was a great show and talking about 1.9s and maybe even 2.0 plus because of everything, right? The hour-long commercial, Becky Lynch, post-Survivor Series. And I'm like, chill out. Don't be talking about 2 million. This show wasn't even good enough for 1.9. I told you guys they have to, however, they have to get at least a 1.8 to show that show has a pulse. That WWE RAW still has life. That it has a pulse. It has to pull a 1.8. Because they've been pulling in 1.6s and 1.7s and 1.8s. So now you have a post-Survivor Series show. Hour-long, first hour, commercial-free. Becky's return. You gotta see the resetted Austin Theory. And several other things, right? You have to see. I mean, that's what you would hope. So you have to at least pull a 1.8, which is the high end of what you've been pulling in, 1.6s to 1.8s. But I told people not to think about a 1.9 and a 2.0. You're not going to get it with a show like that. I wish people would just understand. I'm not trying to trash I'm trying to tell you if the show was good or not. If you liked it, that's different. That's your prerogative. I have likes that you may not. You like shit that I may not. But that doesn't mean it's good or bad. Just because you like something doesn't make it good. Just because you don't like something doesn't make it bad. When I critique a wrestling show, I'm literally just calling out facts. What should never be happening. And the really, really good shit that we need more of. That's all. I get called negative, but I'm always right. And sure enough, this show was not good enough to pull 1.9. Could it at least pull the high end of what they've been making, a 1.8? The answer is no. This is actually a pretty tragic number. when you think about everything that they put into this show, which creatively was nothing, but they tried to do all the bells and whistles. Becky's coming back, hour-long commercial-free, sitting in your lap as a post-big pay-per-view show, all of these things working to their advantage. And this is what they pulled. Are you ready for this number? You may need it. If you're fucking driving right now and you're just listening to BC podcast form, you might want to pull over. If you're making some fucking scrambled eggs in the kitchen, you might want to sit down for this number. Monday Night Raw, 11/28/22, pulled in a 1.66. That's going to be adjusted, we think, a minor tick down. It doesn't look like it's going to be big, so I don't expect this to go into the 1.5s. I'd be astonished. Or maybe I shouldn't be because Raw is so damn bad. But we expect that to go to about a 1.63. But at this point, it is in a 1.6 category. Guys, not only did they not meet the threshold of their high end, which is a 1.8, only comp you're talking about the Monday Night Football. This is what WWE has to take on competition-wise every single year. And I'm going to go over the year-to-years with you as well. But they could not even pull that high-end 1.8. They weren't even in the 1.7s. They dipped back into the 1.6s. Becky's return to Monday Night Raw. Hour-long commercial-free post-Survivor Series. A new resetted superstar like Austin Theory. And wait till you hear what he pulled in, by the way. Not just him, but our number 2. But a 1.6 is where they found themselves this week. I can't even describe to you how I didn't even think that was possible, guys. The post-Survivor Series show alone would put you, which is always right after Thanksgiving. So, but that alone would give you the high end of 1.8, right? It's just, is Becky Lynch going to give them a few 100,000 fans more? Is the hour-long commercial-free going to keep viewers for hour 2, hour 3, right? That's what you're thinking. You're not thinking that they wouldn't even get a 1.7, that they'd be in the 1.6s. Astonished. And I'm a numbers guy. I follow this shit. I did not think they were going to pull a one. I mean, you kind of look at this and you think there must be a mistake, right? And then you hear that the adjustment is actually going to be a tick down is the initial word that we're hearing. So did this go to the low end of 1.6? The adjustment isn't even going to be an uptick. You almost look at this like this has to be a mistake. Like I'm going to keep checking throughout the day to just see if there was something that was wrong. You look at it like that because you think there's no possible way. If you want to know the hourly, and their demo was a 0.40, by the way. If you want to know the hour breakdown, guys, hour number 1 was a 1.95. That was their highest hour, right? Everyone's got their remote in their hands. You have to tell them why they should stick around. Becky Lynch returns to Raw, first time in a long time that she's been on Monday Night Raw. You hear there's an hour-long commercial free. You want to hear the fallout from Survivor Series. And they couldn't even crack 2 million. 1 point, just below. But okay, that's their highest peak, guys. 1.95 was it. Did the hour-long commercial-free format keep the viewers? Right? Did it at least do its job? Well, no. If you watch the review from BC, I told you, hour 1, after you get over the initial brawl at the merchandise booth between Becky and Bayley and Damage Control, after that, it was Monday Night Raw's same format. You just had this weird match between Rhea and Michelob, whatever her new name is, Munchkin, and they face each other for only 6 minutes. It was just a filler to get to the actual 8-person tag match. And then that went on for 20 minutes, and everyone went online and went, wow, what a banger. That doesn't keep audience. Guys, banger wrestling matches is not going to give you an audience. It's just not. Your niche will eventually just fucking slowly fade away. This is not, banger after banger after banger is not going to produce any results. And that's what we did. We ended with the bloodline. There was no Roman Reigns. Owens comes out. There was a nice heartfelt moment between him and Zayn saying that their friendship is done. All right, that was pretty good. But without Roman, and with that just being it, setting up an Owens and Jey Uso match for later in the night, a lot of fans said, nah, I'm going to keep ticking. I'm going to keep fucking just checking if there's something. I'm going to go back to football. And guys, hour number 1 scored 1.95. By the time hour number 2 rolled around, hour 2 scored a 1.6. Over 300,000 viewers said, no, thank you, I'm out. Nothing worth seeing here. And hour number 2, I mean, how do you lose that many people for hour 3? Do you know how hour 3 started when people said no thank you? Seth Rollins, Austin Theory. For everybody that claims, oh, Rollins is so over. Well, not exactly. Everyone just is clinging on to the song. Before that song, Rollins was in flux. We still don't know really what Rollins is doing. The whole U.S. title picture has been in shambles for months, which is ironic because they tried to make that the new world title because Roman doesn't want to work Mondays and he's got both titles currently held in his possession. So they tried to make it like the U.S. title is the title, and every week there's a new U.S. title championship match. But the matches were just thrown together oddly. I mean, one week you're just getting Ali and Rollins. The next week you're getting Lashley and Rollins. Then you're getting Balor and Rollins. It's just weird. There's no care to it. Some of these are like should be pay-per-view type matches, and we're just getting... And earlier in the night, Rollins is like running away, so he starts a little bit of a fight. 2 more people come out. Rollins runs away. So it's like, I thought he's turning into a face, and he's just fucking sneaking out. And then by the end of the night, he's in a match. It's been weird, right? Then you have the major, epic botch, Money in the Bank briefcase botch, middle of a Raw, going for a mid-card title during an open challenge. I mean, that just made everything an embarrassing joke. And then 2 weeks later, after the failed cash-in in that format, he ends up winning. Austin Theory wins the fucking title anyway. And everybody's claiming it's a reset when it's just... He just put down the phone and he's just a little bit more grumpier. That's not a resetted character. That's not Isaac Yankem the Kane. That's not Undertaker to American Badass. That's not Husky Harris to The Fiend. It's not that much of a reset if you think about it, man. I mean, it's very, that's not Demolition Smash to Repo Man. It's not a reset. I mean, this is just a slightly different version. And are you shocked that Rollins and Austin Theory, and all it ended, it didn't even lead to anything. All it ended with was Rollins saying, I'll fight you right now. And Theory goes, well, I'll fight you, but only on the champ's time. And then he says, and I'm not your damn kid. And he walks away to piped in boos. Listen to the second week in a row, piped in boos. Because H is really trying to make you see that it wasn't a botch, everybody. See? He's resurrected. It's a better Theory than ever before. When fans like BC are like, it's kind of the same fucking Theory. He's running away from Lashley last week. He's running away from, or walking away from Rollins this week. He picked up the title in a cheap formatted way on Saturday night at Survivor. It's the same Theory. I mean, let's be honest. He started his promo on Monday night by literally saying, you're all just jealous of me because I'm younger and better looking. And I'm like, this is the same promo. This is literally the same promo I've heard before from him. So it's funny because it's Triple H. We kind of put on those blindfolds, right? Or the rose-colored glasses, anyway. And we want to believe that in H we trust. Anything he does is good. But guys, Theory and Rollins had a big weight to carry. They needed to really keep that audience steady for hour number 2, and they began the downward trajectory to a 1.6 in hour number 2. And there was no way they could get back on track with a Dexter Lumis versus Miz match. Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae was not going to do that. And then you went into, hour number 3. They fell another 200,000 viewers, guys, to a 1.4. And that just shows you that Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso, we like the storyline with Sami Zayn and Roman and all of that, but not enough to just say that we waited 3 hours to get Owens versus Jey Uso. And the finish was pathetic. Solo Sikoa takes out Owens. Owens bounces up. He no-sells it because there must have been a time management issue. And I say that. I'll get to why I say that in a second. But he no-sells it, jumps up, and stuns Jey Uso for the pin. And then about 5-10 seconds later, we're off the air. That's why I say there must have been a time management botch where the ref was like, no, you got to get up. We got to go home. Go home. Go home in wrestling means finish, obviously. And Owens no-sell solo, stuns Jay out of nowhere after a missed frog splash, and then the pin, and then we go off the air. And everyone was like, what the fuck? Is that the show? And then you wonder, guys, hour 1, 1.95, hour 2, 1.6, hour 3, 1.4. By the time the Raw ended, they had lost over 500,000 viewers, 500,000 people by the time the show was over. You don't need BC to tell you that is not good. Now, last year, if you're wondering, the last 5 years of Raw for this exact week, guys, Thanksgiving's week, the last 5 Monday Night Raws, the last 5 Raws for this week over from 2017. So 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. All of those Raws for this week. If you're seeing how this week stacks up, let's go back. 2017 for this week. That was November 28th, 2017. Raw pulled a 2.7 in the ratings. The following year, 2018, November 26th, 2.4. They lost 300,000 viewers from 2017 show. 2019, 1 year later, November 25th, a 2.1. So you guys see a little, there's a little bit of a trend going here. 2017 for this week, 2.7. 2018, 2.4. 2019, 2.1. They keep losing 300,000 viewers every year. And now 2020, 11/30, November 30th, 2020, they pulled a 1.74. So they lost even more than 300,000, 350,000. So 2.7 to 2.4 to 2.1 to 1.7. Finally, last year, Vince McMahon put a fucking cap on how many people were being lost. Last year, VKM held it steady, and they pulled in a 1.71. So 2020, 1.74. 2021, last year, 1.71. So VKM finally held that looked to be like the niche, right? 1.7 is now your niche. VKM held it steady for 2020 and 2021. And then you reach this year under the new tutelage, the new guidance, the new leader of 3 H's. And we're expecting this boom, right? At least get 200,000 to 400,000 viewers back. Let's get that to 2 million plus. You got a commercial-free first hour. You got Becky returning. You got a post-Survivor Series show. And Triple H pulls in a 1.6, loses nearly 100,000 viewers. He does even worse than Vince McMahon's last 2 years around this time. Triple H did not gain an audience from the last 5 years. He did not, or at least the last 3 years, he did not keep the last couple of years steady. He lost viewers with a lot of help, which is mind-boggling. So H pulls in the 1.6. Now, Brandon Thurston, a dude I highly respect, also a big numbers guy, loves going over the numbers, statistics, metrics. Now, he's got another, and this is what I'd love to talk about, because you look at the Q4, for instance, for Monday Night Raw, over just last year, and I believe they're up 2%. And Brandon Thurston talks about this as well, where Raw, and I think it was NXT, of all things, which are not pulling in the best ratings as of late, but they had some really good weeks to really help out that Q4. Monday Night Raw is currently at a +2. You say, well, how is that, BC? If the past several weeks we're looking at 1.5, 1.6s, 1.7s, 1.8, if you're lucky, back to a 1.6 for a post-Survivor. How is that happening, BC? How are they a +2? October. And just that we talk about it as this. We say the honeymoon phase is over. You guys have probably heard that a lot lately, right? The honeymoon phase is over. Well, that's because it is. The last several weeks, you're starting to see the ratings not just steady out, bottom out, but they're actually going down, as I just said for this week's show. They're going down again. That's what we mean by the honeymoon phase is over. The honeymoon was booming, right? It's like when you first get married, right? And you get to fuck the old lady. You get to take her on this big fucking trip. She's even more happy because she's seeing the world. You're going to get fucking lucky several more times on your The honeymoon is going great. You're eating at fancy dinners. This is your time. As a couple, it's the honeymoon phase, man. And when H first took over, man, it looked good, right? Ratings are going a little up. People's interest is peaked. They need to see if Triple H's WWE is going to be that much different, right? We saw people coming back. Some people got their names back. But is that enough for people to go, this is real change? Like on a bit, like the format is changing. The shows feel so much different. And you're starting to see that's not the case. I mean, there's wrestlers getting name changes again, just like Vince used to do with Mia Yim and Van Halen, Sarah Logan. People are now, the honeymoon phase is over. But October was big, right? October, let me just show you a little bit. Let me break down what Brandon Thurston is kind of alluding to when he says it's a +2 from last year for Q4 for Monday Night Raw. Well, if you break down October of 2021, these were the weeks in October for WWE last year. 1.8, 1.5, 1.6, 1.6, 1.7. That was this year's. I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that was a... No, that was last year's. Yep. Okay, all right. My bad. My 5s look like 3s, by the way. And I said, well, if that's a 3, then that was not last year's. All right, so let me say that again. All right, I just made my 5 a little better. Now it's a little better now. So October of last year, their October numbers for WWE last year, 1.8, 1.5, 1.6, 1.6, 1.7. It was a 5-weeker in October. All right, so now you look at this year, right? Because now people's interest is like, shit, all right, we got to give Triple H a chance here. So this year, 1.6, 1.8, 1.8, 1.6, 1.8. So they dipped into the 1.8 3 times. Last year, they only dipped in the 1.8s 1 time in October. My point is, once you start going into that Q4 and you have some momentum, like, I don't know, change of ownership, and people are still trying to give you a chance, yeah, those numbers are going to help. Now, when you start throwing in November, I dread to think what December is going to give us, guys. If we're already losing that much coming out of Survivor Series with a return like Becky to Raw, and you have a whole first hour commercial free, I dread to think what the December numbers are going to give us. So right now, Thurston is correct. They're at a +2 because of the transition at the peak at the start of Q4. But when Q4 is done, when this is all said and done, you ain't going to be looking at a +2 on Monday Night Raw. This is already going backwards. We've been seeing this for weeks. That's the concerns, right? This isn't player hating. This isn't bashing 3H's. This isn't like raising a false alarm, a false red flag. No, this is bad, man. This is your post-Survivor Series show. You got a big return to Raw. You got a first-hour commercial free. How do you lose, viewers? How are you sitting in the 1.6s? The worst they can... 1.5 is we've seen a couple of times. Are we really going to start hitting 1.4s and 1.5s for December? Is that really where we are at? Or will they finally just listen to people like BC and say, you got to change your format, everything. Raw basically needs to be fucking just deconstructed. Resurrect it in its ashes. Monday Night Raw does not have a pulse. And it doesn't matter if VKM is heading it or Man of 3H's. You can keep lying to yourselves and saying that it's that much better than Vince McMahon's Raw. But the truth is now sitting in front of your eyes. The numbers are there. It's not that much better, if at all. It's different for sure. There's some things that a lot of people like BC and you like a lot better than what Vince was doing, no doubt. But when it's all said and done at the end of the day, business-wise, Monday Night Raw is still in the same shitter. The only difference now is that the shitter keeps fucking tanking even more. It's like going through the flooring now. If you're in an apartment complex, you better hope that shitter is not above you because it's starting to erode through the floor. Triple H's Monday Night Raw, the last several weeks, and what we saw this week, they are losing viewers. This is now a trend. It's not just 1 week here and there. And SmackDown is left to carry WWE on its back because Raw is not holding its weight. Could you imagine starting a relationship with somebody? You end up having 4 or 5 kids, and your significant other just doesn't work. Doesn't want to work, just wants to watch TV, maybe play some video games during the day, and you're going to work, fucking working 12-hour days, and you're barely getting by. In fact, you're not even. You can't even feed. You 2 and the 5, you can't feed 7 people every night. You can't even do it. You don't know what they're going to have for breakfast. You wish this son of a bitch would just get up off their asses, help out. No. Eventually, that person's going to break. They're going to have a mental breakdown. They're just going to run away. They're definitely going to fucking leave your ass. I don't know how much SmackDown can handle. SmackDown isn't even gaining viewers anymore. They're trying to hold steady at the 2-1s to 2-2s that they've been doing. They can't even get a new audience. They're just trying to hold steady, and it's hard to do when you're literally carrying all of WWE's programming on your back. SmackDown, at some point, that back is going to break because it's carrying so much weight. I don't know how much longer SmackDown can keep doing this. And let's not act like SmackDown's immaculate either, by the way. It's a much better show than Monday Night Raw, but it has a lot of flaws and holes that need to be filled. But at this point, we just have to get Raw to have a lifeline back. We need to know that there's a pulse for Monday Night Raw, and it's not there. Like, it's gotten to the point, guys, where Monday Night Raw is fucking dead. It's done. And every week, we hope that it's going to be resurrected. If you watched my video yesterday, and you guys heard me say, I don't think it was good enough to pull a 1-9. They have to. There's no exception here. They have to pull into the 1-8s. Doesn't matter even if it's the low end of the 1-8s. 1-7 was not fathomable to me. You can't. 1-7 is just not, it's not acceptable. There is no more Thanksgiving. That's done. Everyone traveled back. It's a Monday night. Everyone's getting ready for work if they're not already back at work. The cold weather has sat in. You got Becky Lynch coming back. First time on Raw in months. Or a long time. You got the first hour commercial free, post Survivor. I mean, all of this, there was no way I was fathoming a 1-7. Little did I know, they'd be in the 1-6s. Again, you look at it and you think there must be a mistake. In fact, BC is going to keep fucking checking this throughout the day because I just can't fathom that this is what happened. And you can sit there and say change takes time, but well, you have to progressively be getting better in any business, right? Change does not mean you go backwards. Right, and let's be honest, we're not seeing that fucking the change that is actually needed. You can bring back all the people you want. You're just gonna fucking bring back everybody and not have any creativity for them, and that's what we're starting to see. Johnny Gargano's running around with a whistle. Candice LeRae is 50-50 booked, or just not used at all for several weeks. Who the fuck knows? Mia Yim, Sarah Logan, they come back. They get name changes. The same thing we used to drag Vince McMahon about. They don't know what to do with these people. And the change that's actually necessary from the jump, from day one, the change that needs to be done is the formatting of the shows. It's all redundant, right? We already know that 2 people are going to start a match. People are going to come down, interfere. We're going to go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to get a multi-man schmaz. The only difference this past Monday, it was commercial free. So we got the original match. We got the schmaz interference. And then with no commercial, we started an 8-person tag match. We know when they're going to go to commercial every single time because somebody will do some high-flying move and they'll a suicide dive or something, a moonsault to the outside, and we'll go to commercial. Right? The formatting is so formulaic, it's so redundant that the viewer does not need to tune in. They don't need to fucking put the remote fucking down. They just can keep on flicking. I don't care if football is on or not. I'll go watch fucking badminton at this point. I'll go watch a dog catch a frisbee at this point. Anything is more entertaining than Raw. And it's been that way for too long. The last 2 weeks, or the last 2 years for this week's Raw, Vince McMahon finally held it steady at 1-7. H comes in this year. We're hoping that will finally go back up. And H just brought it down to a 1-6 now. And people don't want to admit there's real issues. Instead, they go, no, don't worry. H is here now. It's just going to take time, BC. Give it to about WrestleMania. Right. First, we heard give it a couple months. Then we heard give it to Survivor Series. Then we heard give it to WrestleMania. Now I'm even hearing give it a year or two, BC. We might not see real change until about 2024 because Triple H is correcting Vince's wrongs. No. There's no wrongs that need to be corrected up front other than you just change the format and you book your wrestlers better. That's all. That's literally, that can happen in day one. You just get creative minds together and go, how do we book, if we're going to bring back Johnny Gargano, how do we do it properly? How do we book Drew McIntyre to be a real threat? How do we book Bobby Lashley not to look like an idiot? And Bobby Lashley's looked like a fucking idiot since H has taken over. Fuddling around with this mid-card U.S. title, and we don't even know what he's doing. Sometimes he's going for it. Other weeks he's coming down just to destroy people. And he's garnered no more esteem, no more prestige. And it's sad. Bobby Lashley should be a superstar. Vince botched his booking. H botched it even more. Vince had Austin Theory. I know, everyone thought he was Vince's golden boy, golden fucking child. But no, Vince had fucking Austin Theory start a losing streak. Triple H comes in, doubles down on the losing streak, then embarrasses the motherfucker, destroys the concept of Money in the Bank. And then everybody goes, yeah, but it's a resurrected Theory now. He's a little meaner, and I like this better. Well, I'm seeing the same fucking Theory without the cell phone. He's even bringing back some of the conceitedness, the ego. In his interview, as I said earlier, talking about how you're all just jealous of him. That's the same Theory we've seen. You just got your rose-colored glasses on because it's Triple H. Let's start acting like Raw is in the shitter. And we need to be that way, act that way, because it's the truth. Let's start holding motherfuckers accountable for this shit. Our beloved Monday Night Raw, what a lot of you guys grew up on, like BC, is dipping back toward 1.5s again. What the fuck, man? And if you're a true fan, you're going to raise the concern. Don't just say every show is great when it's barely fucking decent. This show was far from great. And you go on socials or online or message board and you just, people are fucking gushing over this show. Clearly, it wasn't as great as you thought it was. Everybody turned the fucking channel. It's sad. And it's only people like BC that are saying this. There's just so many podcasters and content creators that just literally just want to suck away on 3H's schlong. Everything he does, oh, that was great. That was awesome. That's amazing. Oh, this is going to be so good. And then when it's all said and done, another great Raw, everybody. Let's talk about it. And I'm the only one in the community who's like, I didn't see a good Raw. And then I tell you straight out, you ain't getting anywhere near 1.9 in the ratings, man. That show wasn't good enough. And what happens? When it's all said and done, I end up being the only honest one. Because all the facts say that BC was right. And I don't even want to be anymore. I just want the community to stand up and say, hey, H, even if you respect the motherfucker, we all want him to do good because we want Raw to be better. We want WWE to reach the promised land again. We love pro wrestling. We love the company. But instead of sucking this guy off, literally tell him the truth. If you respect him, if you want him to do good, tell him a lot of shit needs to be addressed starting yesterday. This is not good. This is not good at all. And currently, like I said, a +2 on the Q4. Watch what happens in December. If this transition to Triple H has only garnered them a +2 overall thanks to October, wait till December's numbers. At this rate, I dread to even look at them. That's your breaking news. This needed to be discussed. This is not good at all. I was not expecting them to be in the 1.6s. Part of me still thinks there has to be a mistake, but I'll keep checking in. This is just this show. I don't know if this show just needs to be imploded or not, man. You can't cancel the show. There's too much money on the line. USA Network and WWE. You have to cut the third hour. I think we all know that now, right? I mean, you can leave it in the comments if you want. If anybody agrees that the third hour has to go. It's the only chance for Monday Night Raw to get back on equal footing and try to gain an audience back. Try to get a fucking pulse back. At this point, there's been no pulse for so fucking long. Is the show just dead? I don't know. But to try to resurrect it from its ashes, perhaps just cutting that third hour out and just just fucking focusing on 2 hours and utilizing your talent properly. No more 50-50 booking. Change your entire format. I don't want to know when a commercial is coming up before the commercial happens. I don't want to see the same fucking scenarios where two people start at schmaz and it ends up being a fucking multi-man schmaz with the same people after a commercial. I don't want that anymore. You don't. I know you don't, because we've seen it for years. You don't watch your favorite show. You don't watch the same episode 1,000 times, and you don't want to see any new episodes. That's bullshit. You may have your favorite episodes that you've seen many times, but you don't want to just see that all the time. Well, that's what they're doing for us for Monday Night Raw. My name's BC Amplified. Think, be, live, amped always. And until next time, stay amplified. Top guy, I'm out. BC saying check you.